I loved my city, Cleveland. Did it love me back? That's still up for debate. Building a successful business that would benefit my community was my dream. My store and the studio were not just a place of business. It was a hub for local curious kids and artists of all types. A real hub of creativity and dream building. Artists collaborated here. We built a real community of hope. Opening a business near my son's high school that he could see and be proud of was the ultimate reward I received. I sacrificed a lot to build this, to create something for everyone to enjoy. Imagine turning on the news to see your son, or brother, or father, uncle, cousin, or nephew portrayed as a total dark stranger. Let's look.
Ohio Human Trafficking Task Force says he had been running red carpet entertainment here on East 185th. An undercover agent revealed how detectives believe women ended up controlled by the rapper, telling us he even put tattoos on them with this logo, branding them.
It implies that he owns the girl.
Wow. Pause here. Apparently, to be paraded as the face of Wanted Wednesday, a cutting-edge driver's license photo will do just fine. Forget about actual mugshots. That's right, they did not have a mugshot of me. I had not been arrested or charged with anything anywhere, nor did I have a criminal warrant for my arrest. Moving on to branding, I've seen AC/DC, KISS, and Grateful Dead logos inked on plenty of people. Were those bands hauled into court for human trafficking? Because every AC/DC fan with a tattoo has obviously been involved in a crime ring, right? And let's talk about artistic expression. Are we now at a point where using pimp in your lyrics is an automatic guilty verdict? Is this selective word targeting? Or just a classic case of abuse of power fueled by the jealousy of seeing successful black men? Similar expressions.
There was always the threat of violence with the victims, and he's a physically intimidating person.
Right now, the rapper expected here in county court on 6 charges for 2 victims. But investigators say they have reason to believe there are more victims. In fact, more victims from this ring, even in cities all around the country. No answer when we went to an address for officially GP. Investigators say they can't find him either to face the charges. They need your help.
Very convincing to the public. Those that care for me were in disbelief. It felt like a collective nightmare. My parents especially bore the brunt. The authorities showed our family home as mine intentionally, which led to relentless harassment. How could I protect the ones I love from such abuse? The profiling. Both racial and religious added an immense weight to my struggle. It underscored the broader issues of systemic injustice. Fighting these perceptions has been just as challenging as clearing my name. It's a battle against deeply ingrained societal stereotypes.
Love you, brother. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.
In the case of Dawud Sami, his rights were egregiously violated from the outset. Quick refresher. Law enforcement searched and destroyed the business in April 2021, days after. A murder in a second-floor apartment above Red Carpet storefront. No findings of unlawful behavior or anything tying Red Carpet to the murder case. Court records show that Sami was only listed as a witness in the case. His denial of seeing or knowing Aaron Jones led to human trafficking charges after he stopped communication with prosecutors.
Yes, I was aware it was not Sami's correct address, but chose to use it. He had received a subpoena there before.
Ohio Attorney General David Yost made the calculated decision to publicly announce Sami's indictment, effectively trying him in the court of public opinion before he had even had a chance to consult with an attorney. This reckless act not only jeopardized Sami's right to a fair trial, but also painted him as guilty in the eyes of the public.
Your Honor, I would disagree with the contention that once the defendant became aware of this case, that once he frankly saw his face on TV and realized that there were law enforcement agencies looking for him throughout the country, that is when, out of the goodness of his heart, he came into this court and turned himself in. Because, Judge, the summons that was sent in this case was sent to the same address where he received the subpoena in the homicide case, that he quickly responded to the state of Ohio with. He said he received that subpoena. It was sent to his mother's house, and he was in contact with the state of Ohio, saying he could not come because he was not a resident here. So it's the state's position that he was aware this entire time that this happened. It was realizing the gravity of it, and then seeing that the media is getting involved, that there are multiple law enforcement agencies looking for him, is when he realized this was much more serious than what he had expected. So I would disagree with the fact that he was never aware that he needed to be here. Certainly, it was once this case became much more publicized. That's when the defendant ultimately appeared. We would ask the court to take all of those factors into consideration and raise the defendant's bond today to $750,000.
To clarify, Dawud was not evading authorities. And important is the fact that Dawud was never served with the summons. Records indicate the certified mail intended for him was returned, confirming he was never notified of the charges. The procedural irregularities in Dawud Sami's case extend far beyond the indictment itself. In an astonishing display of negligence, sending the court summons notice to his parents' address intentionally was not easy to grasp. Alicia Poalucci, the prosecutor, was aware that Dawud was not a resident of Ohio. She chose to use his parents' address for notice in direct violation of Ohio criminal rules and procedures. This is a significant issue, given the serious nature of the accusations against a citizen. Ohio Criminal Rule 9, a warrant or summons upon indictment, states that for a summons it shall be in the same form as the warrant, except that it shall not command that the defendant be arrested, but shall order the defendant to appear before the court at a stated time and place, and inform him that he may be arrested if he fails to appear at the time and place stated in the summons. The return of a summons or unserved summons states, when the person serving summons is unable to serve a copy within 28 days of the date of issuance, he shall endorse that fact, and the reasons return the summons and copies to the clerk, who shall make the appropriate entry on the appearance docket. If a service of the summons and complaint is not made upon a defendant within 6 months after the filing of the complaint, and the party on whose behalf such service was required cannot show good cause why such service was not made within that period, the action shall be dismissed as to that defendant without prejudice. This dismissal is at the discretion of the court, either on its own initiative with notice to the party or upon motion. These rules underscore the importance of proper service as a foundational element of due process in criminal proceedings. Failure to properly serve a summons can lead to delays in the legal process, and in some cases the dismissal of charges against a defendant without prejudice, allowing for the possibility of refiling if service can be correctly executed at a later time. To sum it all up today, imagine you're living your life in Nevada, unaware that prosecutors in Ohio have accused you of a serious crime, human trafficking. But instead of following proper legal procedures, these prosecutors decide to take matters into their own hands. In a shocking twist, the Ohio prosecutors failed to involve Nevada law enforcement, didn't properly notify the accused of the charges, used media broadcasts to draw attention to the case. These actions aren't just unethical, they're potentially illegal. Let's break down why this matters. The violation of extradition procedures. Interstate cases require specific procedures. By bypassing these, prosecutors risk violating both federal and state laws. The due process violations. Failing to notify the accused denies them the chance to respond to charges and prepare a defense. Fundamental rights in our justice system. The media exploitation. Using media to target an accused person before proper legal proceedings can violate privacy rights and undermine the presumption of innocence. The prosecutorial misconduct. These actions could constitute abuse of power and violation of ethical standards for prosecutors. But here's the million-dollar question. If the prosecutors truly believed they had a solid case of human trafficking, why resort to these tactics? Why not collaborate with Nevada authorities to properly arrest and extradite the accused? This case raises serious concerns about the integrity of our justice system. It reminds us that even in pursuing serious crimes like human trafficking, the ends don't justify the means. Proper procedures exist to protect everyone's rights, including those accused of crimes. As citizens, we must remain vigilant. Our justice system is only as strong as its commitment to fairness and due process. When prosecutors overstep their bounds, it doesn't just harm the accused, it erodes public trust and undermines the very foundations of justice. What do you think about this case? Have you ever encountered or heard of similar situations? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe as we continue share our evidence of Ohio's misconduct in the case of Ohio State versus Dawud Sami.